This is Vishal Dandote, and today we will see how to create your first Angular project, and we will see more about the Angular, like what is the Angular and why it is very trending in the market. So let's discuss about that. So first point, like what is the Angular? So Angular is nothing but the component-based UI framework which is useful for building the single page application with the TypeScript. So this is the definition of uh, Angular framework. So basically, as you know, the framework contain folder structure and it is providing some core features like as a libraries, its architecture, and also its own the modularity concept and so on. So this type of feature also provided by the Angular. So that's why we are saying Angular is a component based framework which is useful for building the single page application. So let's let's create the Angular first app, and after that we will see what is what is the file structure in Angular and why that is the important. So let's create our first Angular application. So before we create the Angular application, make sure you have Node.js and npm installed on your machine. For that, you can go to your terminal on the command line, and you can check node-v, this command. Once you run this command, you will see in my machine I have installed Node.js 16.13.2, and for npm you can check npm-v. Yeah, so here my npm version is 8.1.2. So I have my Node.js and npm installed on my machine, so I can create my first Angular project. But for the Angular, we are creating the Angular project using the CLI. So before we create our Angular project, we need to install Angular CLI on our machine. So for that, you can simply say npm install hyphen z if you want to install that globally. And I have already installed that on my machine as a global package. And here you can simply say @angular/CLI. So using this command, you can install the Angular CLI latest version. And once this install on your machine, you can simply create your first Angular application. So let's create our first Angular application. So for that, we need to run this command ng new and our app name. So in this case, I'm adding my app name called my app. So ng means this is the Angular command, and this command will executed by the our Angular CLI. So what is the Angular CLI? Angular CLI is nothing but the uh, command line interface which will help us to create or build our Angular application. So in this case, I am creating my Angular application. So it will take some time for creating the Angular application. Once you run this command, you will see the options in your command line, like would you like to add Angular routing. For now, I'm not going to add my routing, so I will say no. We will see the Angular routing a little bit later. Here you can see also it is asking about the what type of CSS would you like to use. So I'm going to use the simple CSS. So I'm press the enter. I will press the enter there. Yeah, once we hit the enter, it will create your first Angular application with the no routing and default CSS. So it will take some time. So meanwhile, you can see here we can see the folder structure. So we have the app folder, then asset, environments, index.html, lots of files there are there. So whenever you create your first application with the Angular CLI using the Angular Nginx command, so you can see most important file in the Angular application called main.ts. So whenever you will see this file, it means it is the entry point of our application. So as you can see here, so Angular application or Angular folder structure is little bit different about different than other frameworks. Like it has a modularity or module concept. It means every application has its own root module, which will contain all the component services and all the directives which are injected into that root module. So as you can see here, we have root module called um, app module, and as you can see here, platform browser dynamic means we need to run this application on the browser. That's why we have import this module, and here we are bootstrapping our app module. It means we what or which module we need to bootstrap or run with the Angular application. So this is our entry module or root module. That's why we are bootstrapping to this module. So Angular as a developer or um, uh, as we are learning about the Angular, we should know like Angular application can contain more than one module. Like n number of modules would be there in the Angular application. So for now, just keep in mind that main.ts is an entry file for the Angular application. After that, we have app folder, which is nothing but our first or root component in the Angular application, which is coming as a default component. So in this, like the component, we will discuss little bit more about the component in the upcoming videos, but for now, keep in mind component has three files: app.component.css, app.component.html, and app.component.ts. And this app.component.spec.ts file is useful for testing purpose, so we will discuss that a little bit later. So as we discussed, our app module is root module for our Angular application. So as you can see here, we have file called app.module.ts, and in this file we have that app module. So keep in mind, this is the root module. We will inject all the component in this root module. So this is our root component or default component. So we have imported or added into the our app component, sorry, app module.ts file. So that's why we are bootstrapping our Angular application with the app.module.ts. After that, it has couple of folder structure, like as you can see here, it is the asset. It means whatever images, whatever asset, that would be maybe logos, images, and so on, like the extra files you will be using here, so that would be goes under the assets. After that, you can see the environments folder, and into that you can see environment.prod.ts and environment.ts file. So you can set your URL for production as well as the local testing or the local development purpose. So as you can see here, production is true, and you can simply add the base URL here. We will discuss that a little bit later. After that, you can see index.html file in the Angular application. So it is the only one file in the Angular application which is nothing but the root file or the default file for whole application. So as you can see here, this is our app root. It means we have only one root component or the default component which will control our whole application, whole Angular application. So this is the selector. We will see what is the selector and everything about the Angular application little bit later. So you know this file, this is the main.ts file and entry file for our Angular application. This is the polyfill fills.ts, which means it will resolve our browser compatibility issue. Means some browser have supported for particular things and some browser don't have, but uh, whenever we are using this file, all browser will support uh, with the Angular functionality, like whatever we are using. After that, this is the global styles.css file, which will contain our all the CSS whenever we need to write the global CSS. uh, so that global css will goes under this file. So this is the Angular. After that, we have angular.json file which will contain our Angular configuration in this file. So you can add your styles urls, then JavaScript, like if you are using the JavaScript urls and so on in this file, as you can see here. This is the package.json file which will contain our dev dependencies and dependencies. Yeah, and tsconfig app.json file, it is the TypeScript configuration. So it will contain your TypeScript version. Basically, sorry, type tsconfig JSON file will contain your TypeScript configuration, and it is just like the TypeScript configuration with the main.ts, then polyfill.ts, like we can add our files here. And yeah, so that's it about the Angular application file structure. So this is the karma.conf.js, which is nothing but the karma is nothing but the testing purpose. So we will see that in the upcoming video. So I hope you understand the file structure a little bit about the Angular application. So let's run our first Angular application. For running the Angular application, we need to use this command ng um, ng serve, and we need to add hyphen hyphen open, or we can simply just hit the ng serve. But in this case, I'm going to open my this Angular application with the browser directly. So whenever I will hit this command, it will get some time. Sorry, it will take some time. So sorry, before that we need to go to our Angular application. So our application folder name is called my app. So in this case, cd my app, and then we need to run this command ng serve and hyphen hyphen open. So let me little bit yeah, serve and hyphen hyphen open. So yeah, it will now start executing our Angular application. It is taking some time. Yeah, it is started bundling our Angular application and all the files. So yeah, as you can see here, we have node modules folder which is contain all the yeah. So we have successfully created our first Angular application and successfully run the Angular application, as you can see output on your screen. So it is the default links and the UI which is coming with the Angular application. So we will see that in the upcoming videos. I hope you understand how to create your first Angular application and what is the file structure and what is the Angular CLI. So, like if you need to read any notes or blogs related to Angular application, you can go to my fresherkatta.com website, as you can see on my screen, and here you can select the Angular tab here, and you can read all things related to Angular. I hope you understand, and let's see in the next video. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.